So here it is, the Limo One robot mower. Kind of an unboxing. I'm going to unpack the stuff and get it charging. And I'll get it charging so I can send it out into the world to do its job. I have downloaded the app. I have not read any of the instructions, either in the box or online. I did watch a couple of videos, of preview videos, because this is actually just released. So this is one of the first production models. All of the videos prior to this point have been on prototypes and promotional models. This is production. I will also use this opportunity to check for any damage. There's a couple of crushed spots on the boxes, but I suspect that this was packed fairly well. It is heavy. The shipping weight states that it is 108 pounds. Anyway. Oh, look at that. Here's a giant cheat sheet. Mama Kitty decided to come over and visit. This is the quick start guide. So things inside. Mower, charger, stakes, base. This is the location module. Stakes for that. Mount it to the side of the house. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe to anchor it to the ground. Stakes to elevate that. And really don't know. Let's see. Side discharge module. Oh, versus having it mulch. That's kind of nice. 2, charging station power supply. Extension cable. Acorns. Ground stakes, yes. Charging station, yes. RTK reference station, yes. Trident ground stake, yes. Wall mount bracket, yes. Expansion bolt, yes, to mount it into concrete. Radio antenna. Mounting pole. RTK power supply and RTK extension cable, Okay, so setting it up. Pre-connect the pre-install battery. So I got to get it out of the box, connect it to the unit, set up the charging station. A very heavy paper, it's like poster board. Then this is the RTK, mounting it, ground installation, wall roof installation. So let me get it out of the box. Behold the magic of television. I love packaging like that. Set the poster over here for reference. Ooh, I can set it right here. You can't see it, but I can. Remove this and set it up here. Wow. That's a beast. Beast. That's the charging station. This is the mower. Oh, look, handles. That's big. Charger. Underneath here. Wow. That's big. I mean, it's as big as the box, but dang. That's as big as the box. All right, so disaster as boxes fall everywhere. Okay. All right. So they say, first of all, I may have to change cameras at some point because I'll need the phone for the app. Nope, nope, that's the wrong side. This is the right side. Set up the Limo One. Connect the battery. The battery. It's on the back side. Alright, so there's the back of the mower. And you squeeze. There's two little handles. The compartment comes open. And there's the cable. Ooh, locking mechanism. And that cable attaches right there on the side of the battery. And it can only attach one way. Ooh, oh, it does a little twist lock by itself. Push that back in. Reattach this.
Hello, let's get mowing.
Wow. It's the rise of the machines. The display came on, green lights came on, and I probably have to pair it now, which I can't do with this while I'm recording the phone. Just to give you an idea. That's impressive. There's some of the tech on the front. Oops, hold please. Okay, I got it out of the box. I paired the mower with the app on the phone, got the app connected to the Wi-Fi, scanned the base of the RTK station, which has a QR code, so they're now bound. I'm going to hook power up to everybody, and looks like the battery is at about 68%. Ooh, peeling that off nice and shiny. Got a smudge right there. All right, so let me hook these guys up to some power. There is a antenna connector. So on the base station, ignore the stuff in the back, there are two cables, power and antenna. And this is a power supply for the base station. And then this is the power for the antenna. I think they both plug into there. Oh, I did find this. It comes with a book. Not just a book, but a book. So this might not be too terribly exciting. I'm going to try to hook the power up. I'll do this on time lapse. So in my unpacking, this is the spike that goes into the ground. This is the base for the antenna. And these two screw together. And this has a chute. You see that? To allow for the cable, the antenna to go through there. I'll put these together. These are the two ends. They look like they go together. It looks like that attaches to the antenna. I'll just stick that in the ground to get it started. Back to time lapse. So this is Malabar spinach. It grows on a vine. I just pulled it up by the roots. Here's the vine. Here's the little berries, which turn really, really dark. Turn really, really dark like this. And you typically don't want to smush them in your hand because the juice is super, super purple. You see that? So I'm going to put this one back in the dirt. But I did pull some of these up a couple of years ago, and it lived on our carport for 2 weeks, to which my brother referred to this as a zombie plant. It couldn't be killed. But it didn't eat my brains, I don't think. Okay, so this is the part where I have to use the app on the phone. Switch cameras, have to get a memory stick, probably a battery, and I'm going to try to dock the mower to the station and see what happens. So I'm at the point where I create a map, so I'm going to engage the app and push forward. Okay, so I hit go on the mow. We're in the cutting deck. I am horrible on lawnmowers, meaning that I run over sticks, rocks, in this case vines, leaves, pine cones. So for it to live up to my expectations or to my practices, it will have to survive my backyard. And it is adjusting the cutting height. And I set it kind of tall. 9.5 centimeters, which is 3-ish inches, 3 and some change. I think it's 3 inches per centimeter, 3 centimeters per inch.
Starting now.
Okay, so here she goes. All right, so I'm gonna let the mower charge. Charge my phone is down to 44%. I've learned a couple of things, but I'm gonna have lunch. Let it recharge, the phone recharge. I'm gonna recharge. Be back. Trying this again. Remap the backyard, and she is set to mow. I think I'm cutting it at 3.35 inches. Let's see how she does. Prepare for time lapse.
Attention, lawnmower starting now.
Okay, this is a rough spot. Let's see how it handles it. Lots. Location information off by about 1 foot. I expect it pretty close to this natural line here. This is a rough section for tree roots from this big old oak tree. Let the grass grow up over it. I bet it'll hold some leaves and debris. Previous mowers, like the guys that moved the past 2 years, just know that we can throw dirt after dirt after dirt rocks, make it magic. I hugged this corner pretty tightly when I remapped it, so I'm going to pause this. I was going to try to adjust the blade speed and the mower speed, but not while it's running. Yeah, this is a tricky area. Okay, so it got stuck on that log. I think the log caused it to lose position, and it's now heading back. I think it's heading back. So I'm going to try to adjust cutting parameters while it's not currently mowing. Okay, it came back to a spot, re-identified its location, and took back off. Not sure that it's got its correct position. I'm gonna let it go. Okay. So I drove her around manually with the mower, which is cool. Didn't know you could do that. And put it back on the docking station to get location and letting her go. Neighbor's dog's tune out. And it is finding the channel to the cutting area. Pause. Alright, third time's a charm. Location is better this time. I was curious to see how she was going to go underneath here. It looks a lot like the path I had. I think the antenna location may be a bit of an issue for me. It's looking a lot like a stepper motor situation and less dependent on GPS. Stepper motors were and are used in older CNC machines, computer numeric controlled machines, for doing repetitive tasks. And the step part is that it remembers to take 2 steps in the x-axis, 1 step in the y-axis, step, whatever that step may be, and you can check those parameters. In the software, they could be millimeters, they could be inches or feet. And it does those steps. It slides around on the pine straw. So in the case where I ran into the log and the wheels kept spinning, it thought it was moving forward, so it was counting steps. Which meant that it was off by a good 6 feet easily. Oop, she's slipping. Like I said to start, I'm hard on lawnmowers. This is handling this portion fairly well. Location's really close. That tree, see how close she gets? Yeah, it's tighter than I drove it. So, location information off a little bit. It is slipping and sliding on these leaves and pine straw. This is where she got off a while ago. Where the heck did that come from? That's from the scaffolding. Did not like that stick. Nope. Almost lost. It's getting back on track there. Once it does this outside loop, this will be hairy. Let's see. Then let it go unattended. Wait for the app to scream at me and tell me that something's gone bad, or that it's run out of juice. The position is not quite right. I've just noticed that it is striping the lawn. So that is the pattern it's following once it does the perimeter. Not an objective of mine, but an interesting feature. I see a couple of blades of grass that it missed. We're gonna have a talk. All right, so it's been a couple of days. I let it charge. It's only at 99%. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I set it loose, and so far it's doing fairly well. Just gonna let it run. It's doing the perimeter right now. We are expecting some rain. I'm curious to see if it will detect the rain and stop till it's set to not mow in the rain. So at this point, I'd like to say that I'm very pleased with the Limo One mower, but I cannot. After the multiple attempts that I tried over the course of multiple days, I kind of stopped. I didn't kind of stop. I stopped. We did get some rain, thankfully, but at the same time, the problem I kept having was that it would go out of bounds. It was not, the location seems to be bad. Even when I mark the perimeter of the yard, it doesn't stick to that. It's off a foot to the inside, regardless of which direction that it goes. Okay, I can live with that. One time it got lost and literally got stuck in a hole in an old garden bed. The other time you saw where it ran over the log and lost position. Another, it ran into another bed from a garden. As it was doing the striping that you saw, it just kind of stopped. So positioning seems to be a problem. I have moved the RTK module around. I've moved it further out into the backyard. I joked with my wife today that I'm going to go mount it up on the roof so they can see the front and the backyard, because that's a problem. This does not use buried wire for location. It uses GPS and this RTK, real-time kinematics. So the thought is that maybe it needs to be able to see the module. If that's the case, then you're screwed, because the charger is under the eave of the house, unless you put it in the middle of the backyard or, out by the building or something like that, versus, closer to the house. Again, that seems problematic. So I'm going to play with this a little bit more. I will try it now that it's rained in the next couple of days, and I will come back with a second review. This is my first one. Not very pleased. Out of bounds is the error that I'm getting. I don't remember the exact error code, but it was like 27000 as the error when it could not find its location. And out of bounds, which is really interesting, is that if this is the boundary, it's supposed to stay inside this rectangle, it would be over here on the map. But it would be right here in the map. I mean, physically on the ground, but it thought it was out here. That's a bit of a problem. The user's manual is only 52 pages long. The rest of this is multiple languages, which seems to be a rehash of the quick start guide and, the steps that the app walks you through. And again, I'm going to give this, this is a substantial financial investment. So I'm going to give it another couple of shots. I'm going to focus on the backyard. I may cut it up into multiple zones just for sanity's sake, so they could go and do each zone individually or independently and move on to the next one, because after that there's the lower part of the yard, and then there's the front yard, and then there's a smaller patch on the other side of the driveway in the front yard. I'm not about to send that thing out close to the street if it's going to lose position. Hoping there's going to be a firmware update that addresses some of this. I'm looking for references to positioning for the RTK module, and I'm not finding it. Recommendations. Having a background in instructional design, actually what my doctorate's in, then I would expect a little bit more detail. It's not bad as far as the manual goes, but I'm not finding some of the specificity that a person of my character, I'm a detail-oriented person, I would expect to see on just placing the RTK module, that there are parameters. So it's here's how to install it on, it's a physical installation thing. It's not recommendations on where to do it, or what kind of, if it's line of sight, or if it's So I'm going to give this another shot. Be patient. enjoy the cool weather, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.
Too many hobbies, not enough time.
It's a theme song, y'all.